Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Legal Anchor. Today we are here downtown Kingston, the wharf of Kingston, so at Kingston Wharves, and what we will be seeing today will be marine insurance. Marine insurance is very important to the transshipment of goods by sea. When you are shipping an item, anything can happen, anything can go wrong. As such, what you have to insert in the contract is a clause or a term, and this term will speak to the insurance of the goods. So what you would want to say is that the goods are insured for the amount, and you insert that term in. Now, marine insurance is very complicated and also very important as well, because they ensure that all of these things that we have are insured and they will not be damaged. It is guided by the Marine Insurance Act. As you can see behind me, we're here at the port and you can see all of those goods. Now, if anything is to happen to these goods, who is going to pay? That is why we have insurance. Marine insurance, the Maritime Insurance Act states at section 1 that it is a contract of indemnity, and it speaks to all of this. It indemnifies because it puts the person back to the position they would have been in had this event not occurred. Now, once you're put back in this position, you need to also ensure that the persons to whom you are doing this policy for can insure the property. Not anybody can just jump and insure the cargo. You must have a genuine link, a connection, some nexus to the cargo, some nexus to the ship. Because we also see that marine insurance does not just cover the cargo, but also the ship. So you have cargo insurance and you have ship hull insurance. So all of that goes to show us that both the ship and the goods can be insured. This is extremely important. The Marine Insurance Act goes into details as to how all of this is to be done. Indemnified, if you have an insurable interest, that means you can insure the property. All of that is of vital importance, and one thing that's of vital importance is utmost good faith. When you are dealing with insurance, you must state everything you know about the goods, whether they're in good or bad condition. That must be stated to your insurance provider. Whether the ship is in good working condition, and if it comes to the light of the ship owner or any person that the ship is no longer in good condition, so it's not seaworthy, this too should also be noted. We see marine insurance is one of those areas that's very complicated and it takes a lot to understand. However, what I'm trying for you to understand is the vital importance that it is a contract of indemnity to carry you back to the position you would have been had the event not occurred. There are a whole lot of cases that speak to this. And if further readings you do, you will find out that there are many cases that speak to marine insurance, as a lot of things can go wrong. We're here in the port. You're hearing all the noise around me. All that noise signifies that there are items moving. There are things going on, which means the likelihood of an accident occurring is extreme. And when it does happen, unfortunately, it can be very devastating to the parties. Now we want to know that parties are protected. So therefore, insurance is important. I thank you for tuning in and I hope you enjoyed this.
Wagwan people. Welcome back to the Students Digest. I am your host, Tyrese Williams. Today we have with us the man that we had last week, Mr. Jermaine Reed, attorney at law, lecturer, and owner of the Legal Anchor.
Yes.
How are you, Mr. Reed?
I'm doing very well, and it's a pleasure to be once again here in your amazing studios doing another podcast with the Students Digest.
Thank you. It is a pleasure for us to have you. Today we'll be discussing marine insurance.
Yeah.
Marine insurance. Stay tuned. Take very keen note. This is going to be a good one. Mr. Reed,
Yes.
define for us marine insurance.
Well, marine insurance is a contract of indemnity. That means it is an insurance that gives you protection in the event that an event should happen at sea and your items are damaged, destroyed, or of no economic value.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So you're basically saying then that the marine insurance protects you from all perils that may happen at sea. That includes piracy, the risk of your goods being stolen, hurricane coming out of nowhere.
Yes.
Okay. Good. I heard you mention a contract of indemnity.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading throughout the week, and I realized where there are a couple other principles, some
Yes.
fundamentals of marine insurance. Contract of indemnity being one of them, along with maritime adventure
Yes,
and maritime peril.
Yes.
So could you please just elaborate on these terms for us? a little bit
Definitely.
more?
So the contract of indemnity is, as I've said before, just that. It is a contract that allows for you to be put in the position you would have been had this event not occurred. The maritime adventure is referring to the voyage.
Okay.
That is the maritime adventure.
Okay, so it is basically the maritime adventure then would be the shipping of the good.
Yes, so the voyage that the goods have to undertake to get to their final destination. That is the maritime.
Final destination.
Yes, fine. Well, hope we're not living that right now, but let's, yes.
Okay.
And that brings me right into a maritime peril. And a maritime peril is the dangers that you face at sea. So all the perils, so that is all the dangers that can occur,
Such as
to cause
piracy.
the damage. Piracy, the ship can become waterlogged, so flooding, such as rain, all of
Heavy
those
hurricanes,
hurricane,
and stuff
all of
like
those
that.
things, that is the peril. And everything must be done by the captain and the persons involved in the shipping to ensure that the maritime adventure is protected. So you must do everything in your part. The captain must do everything in his part to ensure the maritime adventure is completed
Okay.
safely. Yes.
Okay, good. So now that we understand, or we have an understanding of what marine insurance is, right? What are the different types of marine insurance that can be had?
Well, you have your hull insurance and your cargo insurance. The hull is referring to the ship. We all know how the ship looks, and the hull is where you will be insuring. That's the bottom part of the ship. That is the hull. And if any damage should occur to the hull, it can be insured against. You can insure against your hull to ensure that if anything should happen, you will be given back the money. The ship owner can get back his money. Like the Titanic, you might hit an iceberg.
Yeah.
The hull, that is the hull was damaged.
Okay.
So, in not so severe cases where the ship may be, well, even in severe cases where the ship ends up on the ocean floor, if you have hull insurance, that is protected against, you will get your money back. Equally, you may have cargo insurance, where you are insuring your cargo alone.
The cargo being the goods that you're transporting.
The goods being transported.
Okay.
We know some goods are transported in a container, some aren't. By their very nature, they cannot go in a container.
Mm.
So, depending on what it is, you're going to have your cargo insurance. You can have both, because the ship owner may be the same person who is also undertaking the cargo. So you can have hull and cargo insurance.
Okay.
And an important thing to remember with your insurance is you have different insurance the policy that you can protect against. So different perils you can protect against.
Okay.
And you have to name the peril to get the coverage.
So that validates the insurance then. If you name the peril, let's say, for example, if you are insuring against, for example, depending, if you're going to, for example, the Caribbean region, right?
Yes.
You know there are a lot of hurricanes that stir. You could get insured against hurricanes. So
Exactly.
in the event that a hurricane does come and the cargo or the hull itself, or both of them are damaged, you could be insured against both of them if it is that
Yes.
is written in the insurance policy that you have.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So it is specifically named in the insurance policy. The peril, because we need to get used to using our words, the peril that you want to insure against. So this maritime adventure, if the maritime adventure should turn into a peril, face a peril, that your goods are protected or your ship, in the case, is protected.
So you see, guys, Mr. Reading, you know what talk about it. Just make sure you pay close attention. So, with all that being said, Mr. Reed, right? We have an understanding because you are imparting a lot of knowledge, and I hope you listeners and viewers are really paying attention, making your notes, because this is really good content. Who then provides marine insurance?
Okay, good question. So, marine insurance is provided by insurance companies. That is the first stop. However, what the ship owners have done is, because of the nature of the shipping industry being such a peculiar industry, they have come together and formed what they call P&I clubs, protection and indemnity clubs, to protect the marine adventure. So they all pool together and they have their own private insurance company, for lack of a better word, where they have their little clubs and they pay into it, and in the event something should happen, the club is who they would claim against for this maritime peril that has either caused the loss or damage of their cargo or ship.
Okay, good. So you're saying then that the Protection and Indemnity Club, that's what it is, right?
Yes,
The
exactly.
Protection and Indemnity Club would compensate the shipper
Yes.
for any loss or damage to the hull or cargo.
And yes, and it is important that we remember compensation is to put you back in the position had this event not occurred.
Okay. Alright. So we understand that marine insurance is, as you say, a contract of indemnity. And we all know, we should all know what a contract is by this juncture.
What is a contract, guys? A contract, as defined by Lord Diplock, is a legally binding agreement between two or more persons. Never forget that.
Thank you, Mr. Reed, because if anybody missed that lesson, you guys really should ensure that you have that written down. That is a question that will come back to haunt you. I can assure you that.
I hope you're not scaring your viewers and listeners.
So alright, so we understand that P&I clubs, insurance agencies provide marine insurance, right? What we want to know then is what exactly it is that they insure. We know that they have different types of insurance, that is hull and cargo, right? But I was reading again, because I read a lot, and I said, guys, this is a course that you need to read for. You need to read for this course, right? I came across the term insurable interest.
Yes.
Could you define for us what exactly an insurable interest is?
Okay, so an insurable interest, simply put, gives you the right to claim. So you have an interest in this item. So there has to be some connection with you and the item that gives you an insurable interest. What connects you to this ship? What connects you to this piece of cargo? That is what gives you the insurable interest. Does your name appear on the ship? Then you may have a claim in this ship. Because if something should happen to this ship, you and I, for example, own a ship. You would want to know that you can go out and insure the ship if anything should happen. And equally, if something should happen and I should claim and get money, let's do a practical example. Mr. Williams and I here, for example, own a ship. We decide now something happens and the ship meets into a maritime peril and the ship sink. No, I didn't inform Mr. Williams here that our ship was insured. I went behind his back and I insured the ship. So the ship sink, and all of a sudden Tyrese Williams here suddenly sees Jermaine Reed living the braffing life. Him go from driving a simple little Honda Civic to now him driving a Porsche. And he said, but hold on, when we did have a ship, he wasn't doing this well.
Yes,
And
what
suddenly,
really go on?
you want to know, I'm going to start say, yo, hold on, boss, me and you in business and what going on here? And then suddenly he comes to find out that guess what, the ship was insured and Mr. Reed collect the insurance. No.
Himself.
No. Mr. Reed has now taken all the money. Mr. Williams, an insurable interest is having a right. You have a claim to something. Would you have a claim to my money that I have got?
I wouldn't have no claim because I wasn't the one who insured the ship. So I have no insurable interest because my name is not on the document. Is that right?
Your name isn't on the document. However, wouldn't you have an equitable claim? Sweet, your name might not be on the document for the insurance because I went and took out the insurance policy against the ship. However, you may find that you have a legitimate claim to the money as well.
Why is that? How is that so?
Because either your name may appear on the ship, your name may appear on the documents of registration. Remember that, guys? See, come back to haunt us. Those same documentation. If you can bring proof to the court that your name appears on the ship that is purchased, you suddenly can bring proof that Tyrese Williams' name is on this ship. Then you may find that I have to pay you money for the loss of this ship because we own this ship in half. Or we own it in portions that maybe I could have probably been. Maybe I have a legitimate claim, more money claim than you. Maybe I own the ship. Maybe 70% of the ship belongs to me. And the balance of 30% is owned by you. Now, wouldn't you deserve 30% of whatever?
Most definitely.
The claim, the way money I got, suppose let's say a ship is valued all 3-4 million US. Now, wouldn't you want to know that you have a claim even in the 3-4 million US?
Without question, of course.
It might just be a couple hundred thousands of US, but that's still a lot of money.
Yes.
That is one way we may find. However, if your name doesn't appear on any of the documents, but it is found that you were a financier of my ship, you ensured that my ship could continue sailing. Let's say you contributed towards the bunkers. You know, bunkers is fuel. So you contributed towards the bunkers. You probably contributed towards ensuring that the workers, the crew, I should say, were being paid on board the ship, that they were getting the food. Maybe you had that section of the ship to deal with, ensuring that the seamen were fed and that their conditions were in good condition, and I was to ensure that the ship itself is seaworthy. Any other mechanical parts I dealt with. But guess what? My name is the only name on the ship. Would you not have had an interest, even though your name doesn't appear on the documents of ownership?
I still would have an interest.
Would you say you have an interest?
I play of course, because I play some part in the ship being operated.
Exactly. So therefore, insurance, I got my insurance, but guess what? You have an insurable interest as well because you had an interest in this marine adventure.
So I can make claims.
So you can have a valid claim, and the court may say Mr. Reed is actually being greedy. He should have shared it with you because he full well knew when things were going good, he was taking your money. Now that the ship sink, why is he hoarding all the money for himself? The same way when things were going good with him, he didn't mind having you in. Now it's gone a little hard. He needs to share the losses with you, and he's been compensated. And the insurance may say, yes, he had an insurable interest. Tyrese had an insurable interest as well.
So you're saying then, Mr. Reed, that the insurable interest, or what validates the insurable interest, is, well, not necessarily what validates it, but what would give you a right to claim is if you have proof of said insurable interest, or said interest in the ship.
Yes.
Okay.
Once again, and as we know, best proof is documentary proof. But even when we do not have documentary proof, the court will not turn you away if you can bring any other things to show that you have a connection. Remember that genuine link
comes back.
Okay, you can show to the court, I have a genuine link to this ship.
Okay, Mr. Reed, good.
Yes.
So I have just a few more questions.
Yes.
I have first thing I want you to explain first is, because I've heard this term about the place, and I want you to give us some insight. What is the good neighbor principle?
Good neighbor principle.
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good question. So, the good neighbor principle is who is affected by my acts or omissions. That is the good neighbor principle. So you have to know, how does what I do affect the next person? So therefore, in insurance, you have to ensure that your good neighbor principle is being applied.
So that would come back to the example you used a while ago, where if you insure the ship against a particular peril and I didn't necessarily take part in the insurance, the fact that the ship is damaged or whatever happened, right, I would be liable to claim as a result of this good neighbor principle, because something happened which affects me.
Yes.
So you, as the good neighbor, have to ensure that I am well.
Good neighbor has to deal with, as it relates to, in terms of all of those situations. So all of that is what we have to ensure, as you're saying, that we must ensure that how is somebody closely affected by my acts or omissions.
Okay.
So it's more to do with negligence. When you come with a negligent activity, that is really where we see it more presenting itself.
Okay. Alright, thank you. Final question for today. The contractual terms of marine insurance. Contractual terms coming up again. The term contract, guys, is going to be used a lot. This is maritime law after all. So, Mr. Reed, the final question I want to ask you: what are the contractual terms of marine insurance, the conditions and stuff like that? What exactly do we need to have in a marine insurance contract?
Okay, so as you know, we already gave our definitions. I won't go back over it, of what a contract is. And we know a contract is made up of terms. And these terms that can be divided into conditions, warranties, and denominate terms. So your marine insurance contract is going to have various terms in it. Some of the terms you may see are terms that are going to definitely go to at which point can a payout be done. When does the insurance company state that we will pay? What are the terms? Will we pay for fire if a fire breaks out? If you're not insured for fire and the ship sinks, can you get money? If all you're insured for was fire?
So that would be a condition of the maritime.
Exactly. So the peril that the named peril must be put in your contract, marine insurance contract. That term is very important. So there are a lot of terms that will be in your marine insurance.
Okay.
And mainly ones that we want to know are the perils covered. That is very important.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Reed, maritime lawyer, lecturer, owner of the Legal Anchor, Mr. Jermaine Reed, here with us on the Students Digest. We look forward to having you here again, Mr. Reed,
Thank you,
as we continue this maritime law series. Again, guys, this is Tyrese from the Students Digest. Peace out.